Greetings, fellow conquerors. This is darkfireslide, and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4. This is not going to be a series, however, probably much to the chagrin of many of my viewers. I wanted to talk about Hearts of Iron 4, and more specifically, why I'm not going to do a series on it right now. So as you can see here, I'm playing as Blue Shirt Portugal. Yep, we went Fascist Portugal, and I went ahead and I attacked the Spanish, and we crushed them. Actually, no, we didn't crush them. It was a pretty difficult fight, actually, and I had a lot of fun fighting this war. Unfortunately, as they were down to their last victory point, or last city here in Barcelona, they joined the Axis, and so I found myself at war with the entirety of the Axis, and so as a fascist, I ended up joining the Allies. Now, I expected this to be a pretty difficult factor. I only had 30 divisions compared to, you know, the literally hundreds that Germany has. However, let's take a look at the statistics of the war. So, Great Britain has lost 700,000, France has lost 912,000, and I myself have lost 376,000. Pretty solid, right? Italy has lost 2.61 million and capitulated, and Germany has lost 4 million. In other words, we're obliterating them. This is not a contest, and currently I have 50 divisions, and we're just kind of, you know, steamrolling. Like, if I unpause this, you would see that for the most part, my divisions just kind of walk through theirs, even though we're outnumbered and theoretically outgunned. And I can kind of sum up really quickly why this is happening, and it's for a number of reasons. First of all, infantry equipment is really weird in how it works. So by tying, you know, soft attack and hard attack to, you know, one stat, I feel like it's way too easy to just spam infantry. And so in effect, this leads to the game becoming a World War I simulator where whoever has more infantry and more artillery just wins. And honestly, I don't feel like tanks are strong enough, if I'm being 100% honest. Every time I've used tanks, if I use like specifically like an armor division, right? Like I've got mostly armor and some motorized or some mechanized, and then some self-propelled artillery. It's just not as good as, like, you know, having more infantry doing the same thing. Granted, this is based off like my 50 hours of experience with the game so far, mostly playing as smaller nations where I don't have the factories to build like tons and tons and tons of tanks like the Germans and the Russians are able to. However, at the same time, I shouldn't be able to beat the AI as Portugal. I don't feel like that's okay in like 5 years. And this isn't the first time I've done it either. I've also done it as Greece, and I've also pulled it off as, well, I beat America as Argentina. It's just, I don't know. And this is, by the way, this is after the Sunflower patch that came out recently. And, yeah, so I'm just really unimpressed with the way that the AI is working right now. And, you know, if I really wanted to challenge myself, I could say, like, hey, I'm going to do a world conquest as X country. And, while I could do that, that's not really how I like to play these kinds of games. I kind of like to roleplay it more, which is why I mentioned at the start of the video, like, hey, I'm fascist and yet I joined the Allies. So yeah, it's, I don't know. I feel like the game could be a lot better. Oh, and the other reason, by the way, so to sum it up, first of all, infantry, too good probably for, you know, how cheap they are, basically. Tanks, not good enough for how expensive they are. And lastly, if I go into doctrines here, lastly, I feel like superior firepower is just, like, super overpowered. Like, honestly, like, game-breakingly, stupidly good. Now, I have seen horrifying stuff coming from Grand Battle Plan, where people just stack these modifiers and get, like, 3,000 soft attack or something like that on their troops. But for the most part, I feel like superior firepower is just broken. It just breaks the, you know, breaks the land combat if you take it as any nation. Regardless of whether or not you have a lot of manpower, it's just good in general. because artillery soft attack gets so high from this that it just obliterates everything. So that's the third part of this, is just superior firepower is too good, I think, for what it is. And so that allows even small nations to just do bullshit like I'm doing right here, where I have 50 divisions as a country as small as Portugal at the game start, and just steamrolling even theoretically tough opponents. So basically, until Paradox makes it so that Germany can actually reliably beat France without taking this many casualties, I don't know if I feel comfortable making a series on it, because while it is funny, and it is fun to kind of curb stomp the AI like this, because it's dumb, at the same time, I don't find it to be as fun as, say, for example, where EU4's AI is, where, probably because the combat is less complicated, you know, the AI tends to put up a much better fight. Like, in my Britain campaign right now, we've got this situation where I actually have to worry about rivals still, even like, you know, 200 years into the game, you know, 2/3 of the way done with the game, and it's still like a challenge and interesting with what's going on. Whereas this is just like, this is a game all about the combat, in my opinion, all about the tactics and the maneuvers, and it's also about like the production, which is fun. I definitely love the production in this game, and I love the combat. But if the AI isn't putting up a fight, if it's not challenging, then what's the point? And I could go on and on about like why this is a problem and why it bothers me so much, but I just wanted to put up a video for people who have been asking me for Hearts of Iron 4 videos for a series. And honestly, until I played this campaign literally this morning, this is just me after like a couple of hours. This is like a 3-hour session with the game. I don't want to put up a series of it until I'm gonna like actually enjoy not doing this, you know, when it's a challenge. And I feel like people who bash Hearts of Iron 4, really a lot of it comes down to, in my opinion, like this. You know, this is just silly. This should be possible, but not as easy as it is. Like, I crushed Italy, taking virtually like no casualties, as you can tell. Like by comparison, my casualties are just completely inconsequential compared to what Italy and the Germans have taken thus far. So I don't know. I feel like there need to be some changes in the game to make it better. Basically, it needs more polish, and I think like I already feel like the game is fairly feature rich, but honestly, there just need to be some sweeping changes, I think, to the game to make it truly great and classic, and held in the same regard, I think, as Hearts of Iron 3. So that being said, this being an announcement video, I have decided that of this game and Mountain Blade Warband, I am going to make a series on Mountain Blade Warband. In my suggestions video, I showed Mountain Blade with Fire and Sword, which is based on a different time period, but unfortunately with the mod I wanted to play, I encountered an issue where there is a fairly reliable crash to desktop, and that's not something I wanted to deal with when trying to do a YouTube campaign. So I'm gonna do a Mountain Blade Warband Flores expanded game, like playthrough, and that's what I'm gonna do, because I feel like Hearts of Iron 4 just is not where it needs to be, and I feel bad for saying that, because I love Paradox as a studio. I think they've done some truly fantastic work, but this is just not where it needs to be. It's not where I want it to be in a game that I want to run, because I shouldn't feel this confident about the game when I made so many mistakes playing this campaign, and yet I'm still here beating the Axis as Portugal. It's just silly, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not doing it single-handed. I did join France and Britain in the Allies, but anyway, I think that sums up my point enough about why I don't want to do a series on this game right now. Don't take this, by the way, as an endorsement to like never buy the game, because this game is fantastic. It has an amazing production system, the best of any game I've ever seen, especially of this type, and the combat itself is tons of fun. And for the first 60 hours of it, you will have a blast even though the AI is brain dead. Unfortunately, like, because the AI is so brain dead at, like, it's not even like combat, right? Like, the combat after the Sunflower patch that came out, I believe it was on a Friday, the Sunflower patch really put the game where it needs to be, like, in terms of AI competence in, like, in its general strategies. However, the AI is not competent still in actually building equipment that it needs and building smart divisions to actually fight the player and, fight the enemy. And I don't think that that's really that much of a hard change to ask for. I feel like if you just follow the same logic, and I can even show you. Okay, when you design a division, all you have to do is shoot for this. So this is combat width. This is how many troops can fit into a single battle, and the magic number is 20. And the reason that the magic number is 20 is because with 20 combat width, you can fit exactly 4 units from every province, which is just an ideal number. It's a perfect number for the game. And if the AI built divisions of this exact size, of this exact combat width, and it was taught how to keep its production lines, up to snuff to actually keep producing those things, then I think it would honestly, with the new AI, be the challenge that it needs to be. And that basically sums up my opinion on the game. I'm not upset, I'm not angry. I see the potential in this game, and I don't know. I don't know if Paradox is going to watch this, probably not, but at the same time, like I feel like this is what I'm looking for in the game. Just make the AI better at the actual strategy of the game. That's the part that matters. Like this is fun. Like, moving your troops around is fun, but at the end of the day, a lot of it comes down to, like, how good of troops you're putting out, and that's basically like it, and how well supplied they are. So that's all there really is to it. So anyway, I know I kind of ranted here, but I hope this sums up my feelings on Hearts of Iron 4. I love this game. I just want to clarify. I love it. I loved Hearts of Iron 3, and I love this game too. But this game needs... I don't want to say needs to be fixed, because that implies that it doesn't work. It does work. It's just that the AI needs to be improved, and there are pretty easy ways of improving it as well, I feel like. I know, programming and coding is not that easy, but this is, like, with Division design, like, in particular, like, I could probably play as Germany, and they probably got some really weird, like, 12 combat with divisions running around, and, like, tank divisions that make absolutely no sense, and they haven't researched, like, they haven't kept their research up to date, and their production lines make no sense, and, like, those are the two most important parts of the game, like, smart division design, and keeping your, like, shit up to date. That's, like, the two things you need in this game to do well. And that's why I was able to do this as Portugal. So, anyway, I've kind of gotten that off my chest, and just saying that, like, I will eventually play Hearts of Iron 4 for YouTube. I definitely plan on it. I just want them to get the game to a state where I feel more comfortable actually playing it over EU4, which in my opinion is, while not perfect, in a much more fun to play area, especially in terms of challenge. So I will not be doing a Hearts of Iron 4 playthrough until they make that kind of change, or until they add, like, a DLC or something that does something similar. And there are other minor complaints I have with Hearts of Iron 4. Like, the tech system, I feel like part of the reason you have this disparity in, like, strength of units is that there just isn't enough tech to, like, differentiate. Like, the fact that there are only 3 levels of infantry tech just totally, like, jumps the gun on, like, I understand where they were going with it because of how the production lines work, but honestly, like, there should be a much bigger difference between bolt-action rifles, submachine guns, and, like, assault rifles. Like, this is, I don't know, I feel like we're missing out on some things here. And I know that you've got, like, your infantry equipment and your support weapons, like, those have got their own techs, but, like, I don't know, like, I feel like infantry anti-tank should be its own thing, and that infantry should not on their own just be able to kill tanks, because that doesn't make sense. Like, you have to have very specialized equipment to kill tanks, and just giving infantry like heart attack to kill tanks with their normal infantry equipment means that like it's I don't know, like the difference between having a bazooka which can shoot like up to 50 meters away or something like that and kill a tank is so much less potent than like an anti-tank gun which can kill a tank from like a kilometer away. Like the difference is just so massive between these two things. Not that like the bazooka is effective when it's in range, but at the same time the anti-tank gun is going to be so much more reliable. Plus anti-tank guns double as direct fire like anti-personnel guns. Especially in the case of like how the Soviets designed their Zeiss 76mm guns, for example. So I feel like that's one way like that could be improved is like just pace this out better. Don't make it like don't make the jump between like weapons 1 like 6 soft attack, 1 hard attack. All right, and then infantry equipment 2 is literally 50% better. That is insane. Like you're telling me that troops armed with submachine guns are going to kill like 50% more people than people armed with bolt-action rifles. Like it doesn't make sense. And from an RTS like a strategy standpoint, to me, like having that much of a jump in terms of like infantry efficacy is just absurd. Like I feel it needs to be paced out better. Like making a soldier's equipment literally 50% better is such an extreme like it's like the difference between saying like, well, we had submachine guns, so our troops killed 15 of them, and they only killed 10 of ours. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I just keep going, don't I? But that's just like, there's just so much to say about, you know, what I want different in this game. And even if this doesn't get changed, making the AI better would make me want to play it. But yeah, I think I've pretty thoroughly explained myself. This was off the cuff. There's no script. I do typically use scripts for videos like this, but in this I just really wanted to get it off my chest, and also announce that I'm not going to be playing this game, and that I'm going to be playing Mountain Blade Warband instead, because with the mods it's a much more finished product, I feel like. But yeah, I love this game. I'm also displeased with the current state of it, and that pretty much sums up how I feel. And I hope I explain myself well enough as to why that's the case. But anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed me ranting, and I hope that like you Hearts of Iron 4 players out there understand my reasoning, even if you don't agree with it, and that you look forward to content in the future, even if it's not in the immediate future. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys on the next one.